Today, I am joined by Brendan Roberts and Ron Overacker. Ron is with the Policemen's Association and Brandon is with the Firemen's Association here in Atascadero. And today we're here to learn a little bit about their organizations and what they're doing. So Ron, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about the Policemen's Association.
So the Atascadero Police Association consists of all the full-time sworn and non-sworn members of the police department. We're a separate organization from the official police department, and our mission is twofold. One is we provide representation for our members, both as part of the collective bargaining process. And then our second mission is community outreach. We usually have an annual golf tournament. We had to cancel this year due to COVID, unfortunately, but we do a number of scholarships to high school students and typically donate to youth sports when they're going on through the normal years. That's how we would normally connect with the community.
Yeah, it sounds like you stay pretty busy. That's great. And Brandon, tell us a little bit about your organization.
Yeah, similar to the Police Association, we're actually two organizations. We are the Atascadero Professional Firefighters Union, and that's made up of our floor personnel, all the people you see on the engines. And then we also have a Atascadero Firefighters Association, which stemmed from our reserve program. And that's our nonprofit that we use to do community outreach, such as scholarships. We too donate to youth sports and the high school boosters. And that's really what we use to get out into the community.
Fantastic. And what programs are both of your organizations working on right now?
Right now, the biggest thing that our organization is working on is promoting the D20 sales tax measure, just because it's something that we feel is necessary for the community and for our officers to try to raise awareness about that. That's probably been a big portion of our time is spent on that right now. Most of our normal activities, like the donations to sports and stuff, is just COVID has kind of stopped a lot of that. So we focus primarily on the tax measure.
Yeah. Brandon, how about you?
I got to echo Ron there. Unfortunately, with COVID going on, our really only donation this year was the boosters program, which obviously is at a standstill with COVID. So we too have been working hand in hand with the Police Association to try to get, Measure D20 passed to help our community, invest in our community at one penny at a time. So that's been our main focus right now. Without being able to do any fundraising, we're hoping to get that back up and going in the spring and continue to offer our scholarship program through the high school.
Yeah. Great. Ron, you mentioned Measure D20, and the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors also took a position in favor of Measure D20, and that's unusual for our chamber. We haven't normally taken positions on measures, especially one that would increase taxes. But we feel it's extreme importance right now to assist with our public safety personnel. And Ron, maybe you could jump in and talk a little bit about the importance of Measure D20 and what the outcome would yield.
Well, as you mentioned, it's a 1% sales tax increase. For us, our officer staffing level, we're still operating with 3 officers on as our minimum staffing, which is 1980 staffing levels, despite the population increasing. Our ratio of officers per 1,000 residents is 0.9, the lowest ratio in the county. So we're looking to D20 to help increase our minimum staffing levels and get more officers on the streets so that we can adequately protect the community. That's the biggest, from our perspective, that's the one thing that we really feel passionate about is being able to protect the community. And we feel that this is the best way for us to be able to get the funding we need. As you know, Atascadero is one of the lowest funded cities in the county, and we just don't have the revenue despite our best efforts.
How do you think that would affect the business community if it passed?
If passed, I think there's a Kellogg management school that says that sales tax increases study from the business schools seem to say that there's really not a lasting impact on buyer behavior. So I would hope that there would be no impact in terms of customers. But I think the bigger piece is this is a general tax that can be used towards infrastructure. So, I'll let Brandon steal a little bit of his thunder here, but, having an adequate fire department, adequate police service, and infrastructure through community development, having those funds available is, I think, going to enhance the business community in the long term.
Yeah. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, economic development in the long run is the way to go for our community. However, we need the funding now to help staff our police officers for one, but from the fire side, we are quickly approaching the end of life for some of our engines that currently don't have replacement cost. Our rescue tools are over 20 years old, like the Jaws of Life and the cutters that we would use to help our community members if they get in a car accident. And unfortunately, none of those have a replacement cost. But more importantly, for the business side, it could affect our ISO rating. We currently have a safer grant funded position that allows us to have a firefighter that is paid for in part by the grant. And when that ends in 2021, if we don't get this tax passed, we could lose that position. And that may mean losing our battalion chief position, which is one of the things that helped us get to our current ISO rating for insurance rates. Both for residents and businesses. And so from a business standpoint, having that extra person on every day really helps out with that rating, and in turn with insurance costs for businesses. And more importantly for us, it's a safety factor. Having that overhead battalion chief positions allows our engine companies to stay together for fires and do more work quickly than having to wait for an outside agency to come in and help us, or our other engine company. It just allows for a little bit less of a delay in rescue and or firefighting operations.
Yeah, thanks. You bring up a good point, and I'm not completely familiar with the inside and outs of ISO ratings, but could you explain a little bit more about that, and what does ISO stand for, and what happens if our ISO rating, what is the current ISO rating, and what happens if it goes down?
The current ISO rating right now is 3 plus. And if it goes down to where we used to be at 4, that will raise our insurance, or could have the possibility of raising our insurance rates. I believe the number is, Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, we're anywhere between $200 and $400 to $600 a year per person, which is definitely over what they project that the sales tax would affect people yearly. The ISO rating is based off 5 different categories, and I'm drawing a blank on all of them right now. Water supply, number of the one that we really are looking at is the number of personnel on duty daily. With this addition of the battalion chief, allowed us to get to that level of 3 plus. In the news recently, you've seen our neighboring city of Paso Robles, our sister city, with their ISO rating and them falling short due to staffing. And we would be in a similar scenario if this tax measure doesn't pass.
I think you guys have that grant-funded firefighter position was included in the staffing when they just came in and evaluated the city. So if that grant-funded firefighter position goes away and D20 isn't passed and they don't have an ability to backfill, I think, Brandon, you have to correct me too, but I think that would also reduce the staffing that they use to calculate our current ISO rating.
That's correct. Yeah, we just did our ISO rating in July. So that's good for another 4 years, I believe, maybe 5. And when they come back, if we don't have that position, things could be definitely affected in terms of our ISO rating, and in terms of insurance, they would go up.
So if I understand both of you, the ISO rating, if it drops, that could lead to an increase for both residential and business customers for their insurance of up to, it sounded like, Brandon, you said $400 to $600 a month. And Ron?
Possibly, yeah. Sorry, a year. $400 to $600 a year.
Oh, $400, $600 a year, thanks. And Ron, the sales tax measure, how much money out of pocket would that cost the average household?
I've heard Mayor Pro Tim Bourbeau, I think we're saying $40 to $80 a year.
Yeah.
So we're 330 to 670 a month more, which is about a grande frappuccino without that
Every month, run of those.
every month. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it really shows the importance of passing this measure. And then my final question is, moving forward, how would you like for the community to engage with your organizations?
For us, we love when people stop by. I mean, right now, obviously, COVID situation, we can't really have people come to the station coming by, but we love to be out in the community. Growing up here, one of the things I really remember is seeing all of the fire engines at every football game. Recent years, we've been making an effort to go to more than just football games, basketball games, volleyball games, soccer, try to show we're out in the community as well. And we love when people come up and talk to us, ask us any question you want. When the kids come by, it's one of our favorites. They're always pretty enamored by the fire engines. And if anybody has any questions ever, feel free to reach out. Stop us when we're out and about. We're more than happy to talk to the public, and we love doing those things. And hopefully we can get back out in the community with COVID being done, hopefully in the next period of time, so that we can get back out in the community and really show how dedicated we are.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think for us, COVID is kind of set back. We used to have the Coffee with a Cop program where we would set up at one of the local coffee shops and just give people an opportunity to come up and chat with us. Unlike Brandon, when we're usually on calls for service, we're out in the field. We're pretty focused on what we're doing, so making ourselves available. Last night we had the National Night Out, or the night out here, which gave us an opportunity to connect with people. But if our officers are out, don't hesitate to just pop in, like, hey, do you got a second? And either the answer is, hey, I'm working on something, I can be with you in just a second, or yeah, what's going on? We encourage people to come up and chat with us and just to connect. It's really important, and it's kind of one of the cool things about being an officer here is there really is that connection to the community, and that we don't see ourselves as being apart or distance from it. We want to be approachable. That's a big part of who we are as an organization.
Yeah, a night out event last night in front of the Galaxy Theater was a really fantastic event. There was a movie, there was a canine demonstration. The firemen had their fun video talking about home safety. They were handing out helmets to the kids, bike helmets to the kids, and overall it was just a great community event. And I look forward to it next year again. Anyway, that's all the questions I have today. I want to thank you both for participating and for everything that you are doing for our community. And thank you to those of you that are watching this afternoon, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.